Have you ever looked at someone over 90 years old, standing tall, walking without a cane, climbing stairs slowly but steadily, and wondered, how is that even possible? Not long ago, a small-town doctor shared the story of a man who had just celebrated his 100th birthday. No expensive supplements, no complicated fitness program, no secret injections or miracle pills. Yet his legs were stronger than people half his age. He still walked every morning, still carried groceries with his own hands. And when doctors examined him, one question kept coming back again and again. What exactly was he doing differently? What surprised them most was not his genetics. It wasn't money, special treatment, or access to elite healthcare. It was something far simpler. Every single day for decades he ate the same 3 foods, day after day, year after year. Foods so ordinary that most people overlooked them completely. But hidden inside those foods was a powerful combination that protected his muscles, reduced silent inflammation, and kept blood flowing through his legs, even at an age when most people struggle to stand up from a chair. And here's the uncomfortable truth most seniors never hear. Weak legs do not begin in the legs. They begin much earlier, quietly, deep inside the body, long before the pain starts. Long before balance problems appear. Long before the first dangerous fall. The body starts losing muscle cells, circulation slows down, nerves weaken, and inflammation quietly attacks the joints. Many people think it's just aging, but what if part of that weakness is being accelerated by daily habits most people never question? In fact, doctors now know that after age 60, adults can lose up to 3% of their muscle strength every single year if they don't actively protect it. And the legs are usually the first place where this damage becomes visible. That's why so many older adults suddenly notice things like difficulty climbing stairs, needing support to stand up, slower walking, nighttime leg cramps, or feeling exhausted after only a short walk through the grocery store. But the man in this story was different. At 100 years old, his legs still carried him with confidence. And when people asked him how he stayed so strong, he smiled and gave the same simple answer every time. I never stopped feeding my legs what they needed. That answer may sound simple, but what he meant by it could completely change the way you think about aging. Because most people focus only on calcium or vitamins, but very few understand the deeper connection between food, circulation, muscle preservation, nerve health, and inflammation. And once those systems begin failing together, the legs become weak very quickly. This is why some people age rapidly after 70, while others remain surprisingly mobile well into their 90s. Over the next few minutes, you're going to discover the 3 foods this 100-year-old man ate almost every single day, why they may have helped protect his strength for decades, and how certain everyday habits could secretly be weakening your legs right now without you realizing it. You'll also learn why many healthy foods seniors rely on may actually be contributing to inflammation and muscle loss when eaten the wrong way. And make sure you stay until the end, because one of the biggest reasons seniors lose leg strength has almost nothing to do with exercise. In fact, many older adults who walk every day are still unknowingly damaging their muscles because of one silent nutritional mistake. Doctors rarely explain clearly. The truth is, strong legs after 80 are not only about luck. They are often the result of small daily choices repeated consistently for years. And sometimes the simplest habits become the most powerful medicine of all. The first food this 100-year-old man ate every single day was eggs. Not fancy protein shakes. Not expensive powders advertised on television. Just simple eggs, cooked gently each morning. And while many people still fear eggs because of outdated cholesterol myths, modern research has shown that for many older adults, eggs can actually become one of the most valuable foods for preserving muscle strength. Here's why this matters so much after 60. As the body ages, muscles stop responding to food the same way they did in younger years. A senior may eat enough calories and still slowly lose muscle every year because the body becomes less efficient at rebuilding tissue. Doctors sometimes call this muscle resistance. In simple words, the body needs stronger nutritional signals to maintain strength. And eggs happen to contain one of the most important signals of all, a protein-building amino acid called leucine. Leucine acts almost like a switch for aging muscles. Without enough of it, muscles slowly shrink even when a person eats regularly. That's why many seniors who eat mostly toast, cereal, tea, or light snacks throughout the day often notice increasing weakness in their legs. They may feel full, but their muscles are actually starving. The 100-year-old man understood something many people miss completely. He believed breakfast should wake up the muscles, not just fill the stomach. And there was another reason eggs mattered so much. They helped stabilize his energy. Many processed breakfast foods create sharp blood sugar spikes followed by crashes that leave people tired and sluggish by afternoon. Over time, unstable blood sugar can damage nerves and circulation, especially in the legs and feet. This is one reason some older adults develop burning sensations, numbness, or weakness, even without realizing high sugar may be silently contributing to the problem. But eggs alone were not his secret. The second food he ate every day may surprise you even more. Sardines. Small, inexpensive fish that many people ignore completely. Yet doctors studying long-lived populations around the world continue noticing something fascinating. Communities with high fish consumption often maintain better mobility later in life. Now think about the legs for a moment. Every step depends on healthy nerves, flexible blood vessels, stable joints, and muscles that can still repair themselves. Sardines support all four at the same time. They contain omega-3 fats that help calm chronic inflammation inside the body. And inflammation is far more dangerous than most people realize. It slowly damages joints, stiffens arteries, and interferes with muscle recovery year after year. Many seniors believe leg weakness is simply caused by old bones. But inflammation may actually be one of the hidden drivers behind stiffness, pain, and reduced movement. When inflammation stays high for too long, people naturally move less because movement becomes uncomfortable. Then the muscles weaken faster from inactivity. It becomes a painful cycle that slowly steals independence. The man in this story often said something very interesting. He said, "The day you stop moving comfortably is the day aging speeds up." And there's truth in that. Once walking becomes difficult, many seniors become less active, spend more time sitting, and lose strength rapidly within only a few years. That's why protecting the legs early matters so much. Sardines also contain vitamin D and calcium together in a natural form. Most people think calcium alone protects the body, but calcium without enough vitamin D may not help properly. These nutrients work like partners. Vitamin D helps muscles contract correctly and supports balance, while calcium helps maintain nerve signaling and bone strength. Low vitamin D levels are now strongly linked to falls and muscle weakness in older adults. But here comes the most overlooked part of his daily routine. The third food. And strangely enough, it wasn't a superfood at all. It was beans, simple beans, lentils some days, white beans other days, sometimes chickpeas, nothing glamorous. Yet this may have been one of the smartest habits of all. Beans provided steady energy without overwhelming the body with sugar spikes. They also fed the gut bacteria that influence inflammation throughout the body. Most people never connect gut health with leg strength, but doctors increasingly understand that chronic inflammation often begins in the digestive system itself. An unhealthy gut can contribute to fatigue, joint discomfort, poor circulation, and even muscle loss over time. And there's another reason beans mattered. They are rich in magnesium and potassium, two minerals deeply involved in muscle function. Low levels of these nutrients can contribute to cramps, weakness, twitching, and stiffness. Many seniors experiencing nighttime leg cramps are actually dealing with nutritional imbalances they never knew existed. Now, this doesn't mean these three foods are magical cures. That's important to understand. The real power came from consistency. The man didn't constantly jump from one trendy diet to another. He gave his body stable nourishment for decades. In today's world, many people eat foods that constantly inflame the body. Highly processed snacks, sugary drinks, excessive refined carbohydrates, and fast foods filled with oils that stress the system over time. And perhaps the biggest myth of all is this idea that weakness is unavoidable after a certain age. Yes, aging changes the body, but rapid decline is not always inevitable. Many people unknowingly accelerate weakness through inactivity, poor nutrition, dehydration, and lack of muscle-supporting nutrients. The body may age, but it still responds remarkably well to proper support, even in later decades of life. In the next part, you'll discover the daily habits this man followed beyond food, including the simple morning routine that helped keep circulation strong in his legs, the walking mistake many seniors make without realizing it, and why sitting too long may be aging the lower body faster than almost anything else. Type continue for the next part. Every morning, the 100-year-old man followed the same quiet routine before most people in his neighborhood were even awake. He would rise slowly, drink a glass of water, stand near the window for a few moments of sunlight, and then begin walking. Not fast, not aggressively, just steady, relaxed movement. And that simple habit may have protected his legs more than people realize. You see, one of the greatest enemies of aging legs is not always weakness itself. It's poor circulation caused by too much sitting. After retirement, many adults unknowingly spend long hours inactive. The muscles of the legs stop contracting regularly, blood flow slows down, and over time the lower body becomes weaker and stiffer. Even the small stabilizing muscles responsible for balance begin fading away quietly. The man often said, "Your legs are like workers. If you stop giving them jobs, they retire early." That may sound simple, but medically it makes perfect sense. Muscles survive through use. When muscles are activated consistently, they continue sending signals to the brain, nerves, and blood vessels that the body still needs them. But when movement disappears, the body begins conserving energy by shrinking unused muscle tissue. And here's something many seniors never hear clearly enough. Walking alone is not always enough if nutrition is poor. Some older adults walk daily yet still lose strength because their muscles are not recovering properly afterward. The body needs movement, yes. But it also needs protein, minerals, hydration, and rest to rebuild what aging naturally tries to break down. That's why this man never skipped meals after walking. He understood something many people overlook. The muscles are most responsive to nourishment after movement. Even a simple breakfast with eggs and beans after a walk can provide the body with the building blocks it needs to maintain strength. Without that support, the body may slowly cannibalize muscle tissue instead. Another habit he protected carefully was sleep. Most people underestimate how deeply sleep affects the legs. During deep sleep, the body repairs damaged tissue, balances hormones, and restores nerve function. Poor sleep increases inflammation and raises stress hormones that can accelerate muscle breakdown over time. This is one reason chronic stress and exhaustion often show up physically in the legs first, through fatigue, weakness, cramps, or instability. And there was one more thing he avoided almost completely: ultra-processed foods. Packaged snacks, sugary desserts, deep-fried meals, and heavily processed meats were rare in his life. Not because he followed strict diet rules, but because he noticed how certain foods made his body feel. He once told a younger doctor, "Food should leave you lighter after eating, not slower." Modern science now supports that idea more than ever. Highly processed foods can increase inflammation, disrupt blood sugar balance, and damage blood vessels over time. And when circulation weakens, the legs often suffer first because they are furthest from the heart. Many older adults notice cold feet, swelling, numbness, or heaviness in the legs long before more serious problems appear. Now here's an important mistake many seniors make without realizing it. They become afraid of using their legs because of pain, so they move less and less. But in many cases, complete rest actually worsens stiffness and weakness. Gentle movement is often safer and healthier than prolonged inactivity. Of course, serious pain should always be evaluated by a doctor, especially sudden swelling, severe numbness, or difficulty walking. But ordinary stiffness often improves when the body stays active carefully and consistently. The 100-year-old man also practiced what doctors today call movement snacks. Every hour or so, he stood up, stretched lightly, or walked around briefly. These tiny moments of movement help keep blood circulating and prevent the body from becoming stagnant. Many people think only long workouts matter. But short bursts of daily movement can be incredibly powerful for seniors. Hydration mattered too. Dehydration thickens the blood slightly and makes circulation less efficient. It also contributes to muscle cramps and fatigue. Older adults often drink less water because thirst signals weaken with age. But the body still depends heavily on hydration for muscle and nerve function. Sometimes a tired body is not starving for energy. It's simply thirsty. And perhaps most importantly, he never accepted the idea that aging meant surrendering. He adapted, slowed down when necessary, rested when needed, but he kept participating in life. That mindset itself changes behavior. People who believe decline is inevitable often stop trying long before the body completely fails. But those who continue caring for their muscles, circulation, nutrition, and movement often preserve independence much longer than expected. In the final part, you'll hear the emotional lesson doctors took away from this remarkable man's life. The one truth about aging that changed how many of them viewed strength forever. You'll also learn the deeper message behind these 3 foods and why it's never too late to begin supporting your legs starting today. Type continue for the final part. Near the end of his life, one young doctor asked the 100-year-old man a question he had probably heard 100 times before. What's the real secret? The doctor expected some complicated answer. Maybe a hidden supplement, a strict exercise routine, or unusual genetics. But the old man simply smiled and said, I respected my body before it started begging for help. That sentence stayed with the doctor for years. Because most people wait for a crisis before they begin caring for themselves. They wait until the knees hurt badly, until balance disappears, until climbing stairs becomes frightening, until the body finally forces them to pay attention. But the people who often stay strongest into old age are usually the ones who protect their health, quietly and consistently long before disaster arrives. And perhaps that is the real lesson behind those 3 simple foods. It was never about magic. It was about giving the body what it needed again and again over many years. Protein to preserve muscle, healthy fats to calm inflammation, minerals to support nerves and circulation, fiber to protect metabolism and digestion, combined with movement, sunlight, sleep, hydration, and purpose. Those habits became powerful. The beautiful thing is this. The body can still respond even later in life. Doctors have seen adults in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s improve strength, balance, and mobility simply by nourishing themselves better and moving more consistently. The human body may age slowly each year, but it never completely stops trying to heal when given the right support. That means if your legs feel weaker today than they did a few years ago, it does not automatically mean hope is gone. Small changes still matter. A short daily walk matters. Eating more real food matters. Strengthening muscles gently matters. Drinking enough water matters. Standing up more often matters. Even improving sleep by 1 hour each night can begin helping the body repair itself better over time. And remember this carefully. Strong legs are not only about walking, they are about freedom. They are about being able to stand in your kitchen without fear. Visit family without needing constant help. Carry your groceries. Enjoy sunlight outside. Climb stairs slowly but independently. For many seniors, leg strength is deeply connected to dignity itself. Sadly, modern life often teaches people to search for quick fixes instead of daily consistency. But this man's story reminds us that the simplest habits are often the ones that quietly shape the future, day after day, meal after meal, step after step. The body listens to those choices more than we realize. Maybe that's why the doctors were so surprised by him. They expected aging to look fragile. But instead, they saw someone who had spent decades building resilience slowly, patiently, and naturally. His body was not perfect. He still aged. He still moved slower than he once did. But his foundation remained strong because he never stopped supporting it. So if you take one thing away from this story, let it be this. It is never too early and never too late to begin protecting your legs. Start with simple foods. Move a little more each day. Reduce the habits that silently inflame the body. Respect your muscles before weakness steals them quietly. The small decisions you make today may determine how confidently you walk years from now. And if this video helped you understand your body a little better, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who wants to stay strong and independent as they age. And in the comments below, tell us, which of these 3 foods would you start adding to your daily routine first? Until next time, take care of your body gently. And it may continue carrying you farther than you ever expected.